Facebook lead gen, where you're working the top of funnel, it really begins with, on your end, changing your mentality and mindset to really be contribution focused. And naturally, these leads will start talking on their time. And so everything you think about, everything you create in the beginning is really a shift on your end, because a lot of people come from the background with Zillow and Trulia Realtor and Google SEO style of leads where people are actively searching for you. In this case, you're interrupting their newsfeed, and usually with a simple call to action, like either finding the value of their home, enter your address, receive your home value, right? It's like, oh, I just wanted my home value. Now underneath that click, there's a whole lot more to it, as we know. Whether you're using a list of properties in Orange County with a pool under $1 million in ocean views, right? No one really is just looking for that, right? There's so much more to it. And I try to tell everybody, you got to get underneath the iceberg. The tip 22. Someone just say something? Or we just have
that was my TV, sorry.
Okay. Underneath that is essentially, you got to learn that this is all about the art of winning friends and influencing people, and everything comes down to this model of know, like, and then trust. There's and some people are easier than others, but at the end of the day, this is why we place such high priority on integrations like BombBomb and Facebook Messenger, and essentially customizing everything you possibly can to encourage the authentic experience. So until you make that a priority, they're always going to have their wall up. They're always going to feel like you're just a salesman. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter, how experienced you are as a realtor. One of the things I love about Facebook, by the way, is it levels the playing field. You could be a brand new agent and do better than the person that has 25 years experience in the industry. Right. And that's what I love about it, because it's not like, it doesn't matter how many awards you have and what your experience is until you get that appointment. Then you can use that experience and expertise.
Yeah. But yeah.
Until then, you're leveled up with everybody else. And when people are on Facebook and they click on an ad and they simply give you an address and email, you know what? Obviously you want the phone number. Obviously you want to know all the details about their home and time frame for selling, but these people are not going to essentially say, come on over, I want you to sell my home. Some will, because they have, and those are the exceptions. Some will have some sort of financial issue, health issue, relational issue, could be going through a divorce, who knows, right? That happens. And that's luck. But most of these leads have to be cultivated, have to be nurtured, you have to consider that it's on their time frame. Just because they said, I want to know what my home is worth today, doesn't mean they're going to come list with you anytime soon. And so the key is to develop a strategy that's all about contribution, and the way you send out mailers, and the way you talk, and the way you present yourself, and even present the home value you're giving them, in the way you stay in touch with them, and the combination of smart automations, but also personal check-ins. Because some of these leads won't even start, any sort of reply and you've already sent a dozen touches to them, and that's, but and some will the generic email that goes out in the first email, they'll respond to and tell you all these updates and renovations they've done. The key is, how do you go from that type of response to helping frame in why meeting with you is value to them? And so that's entirely up to you. And I think the masterminds we hold on Wednesdays really highlight that. Like Jen Key on last week. If you guys can't, some of you are brand new, or some of you are just checking StreetText out, and some of you have been with us. But if you make one meeting a week a priority, it's got to be that one. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, because you get the true understanding that those who've been very successful with StreetText, most of the time have been with us for a while, and they've kind of redefined their process over and over again, but they're always learning, and they're also always bringing it back and integrating. And then we also find out that there's no one way to do this. You just got to be consistent with your way. you know, and measure it. Because ultimately, if it's not working, if you're not getting any feedback, you're not getting any responses, there's something that needs to change, because that approach, the way you're creating that experience on the other side of the click, it's just not lining up with your audience. They're you know, if you can't get a dialogue or an answer started, you got to ask yourself, well, what are they seeing, and how why are they not responding? Right? How's so maybe for everybody here, tell me how long you've been with StreetText, where you're at with StreetText, you know, and let's highlight some of the conversations you've had or lack thereof if you haven't had any conversations, and let's talk about that, because we can really go into it. And whoever wants to go first, go for it.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Nate.
I'm easy just because I just started. So I just came off the free trial. I starting in my first month with you guys. I think I've been a week and a half or something like that. My experience was that my very first 2 contacts were great, and I've had very few, like my very first 2 contacts totally communicated with me back and forth. I was like, man, this is excellent. This is gold. And a lot less communication since. In fact, those are the only 2 people that have communicated with me the entire time. But I'm loving what I'm seeing in terms of the amount of new contacts to add to my database. I'm like excited every day to get up and work on CMAs for folks, and really dialing in this process of thinking long term, because I come from the background of, like you said, Marcus, with Zillow and stuff like that, where they're just handing you somebody on a platter ready to go look at houses or whatever. But I have found that to be kind of short-sighted. So I'm excited about this time. You know, I'm excited about this time next year, and where I'm at then. But yeah, working on dialing everything in right now, on dialing in all those ads. I've got a bunch of them running that I have no idea. I know nothing about Facebook also. I'm not a Facebook guy at all. So I'm learning about all this stuff all at once. And I've been enjoying watching all the recorded masterminds of the backlog.
Thanks for sharing, Nate. I mean, one word of recommendation is just dive in deep into the people that have done transactions and figure out what they've done, how they've done it, how long they've been with us.
I've been trying to mimic everybody that sounds really loud. Then, okay, I'm gonna get my bomb videos on there. I'm sending the thing out. Then I'm gonna do the next. You know, like I was watching several people had some great strategies that seem to work really well. So I'm trying to mimic the people who seem successful.
Well, and don't. Here's the one word of advice too: is you can't replicate someone's persona or personality.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't feel natural to you. You know, if you ever look at those the disc profiles, you know, some people are high DIs.
Mm-hmm.
I am one myself, and you actually, anybody that gets to know me on social media quickly finds that that's just who I am. That's how I post. If that's not you, you're not going to naturally do that. So you got to do what comes naturally to you. Of course, you got to get over some of the you know, maybe fears or apprehension and natural anxiety that you have with doing some of this stuff, and that just comes with practice. But those people are naturally going to always gravitate towards authenticity. So you got to figure out what that is for you. And I could advise everybody is like, you want to try to do everything you possibly can not to sound or feel or look scripted. Because if that's the case in the way you present yourself, they'll see right through that. We're all smart people, you know, and body language and tonality is a big part of that when you're presenting yourself. So if you're looking like you're reading off a monitor or something, or, you know, you always got to think about the experience itself. If you are in a very dark bedroom where the lighting's off and your audio's off, and you know, I've had several of those clients, and they're wondering why they haven't gotten any responses, because it's scary. It's a scary look.
You're in a haunted house.
Yeah, I wouldn't respond to that either. So you got to always acknowledge, and this is where it helps to be in this community, and also to share what you're putting out there with the community. One of the best things I can tell you from the get-go to do is grab the videos that you're filming, if you're doing, you know, bomb or dub or whatever, you know, and share it in the insider group. Say, hey guys, this is my autoresponder. What do you guys think?
Is there how do we get into the insider group? Because I still haven't figured out even getting into that.
Who's your coach?
I don't know if I have a dedicated coach. I met with oh shoot, I forgot his name. I met with Logan,
Logan.
but I don't know. I don't know if that's my coach.
You should be, because
Okay.
if you set you up beyond trial, then that means you would want to reach out to him, become friends on Facebook, and he'll invite you into the insider group.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's always.
Again, I just like started Facebook, so brand new to all this.
Well, welcome. It's going to be a life changer. Noah, thanks for sharing. Jeff, what were you going to say?
Now that I'm from Orange County, California. I've been with StreetText now for about 3 weeks, maybe a little bit more. Almost overwhelmed with the number of leads and understanding, because of the mastermind meetings, that it's really a function of setting up systems, and it's tough right now to set up the systems as I'm getting the leads in. So I'm going to back off a couple of my leads just in order to get the system set up, because it's a waste of money to leave leads that come in for 2 to 3 to 4 days while the systems are being set up. Had a couple of conversations with a couple of leads. I absolutely understand that this is a long-term issue, but based on sheer numbers, there's no way it doesn't work over the long haul. So real happy with the way things are going. Did have a question, Marcus, and this is probably not the right place to ask it, but what I'm finding is a lot of my original the first automated email that goes back out, that I have tweaked, that I have added a BombBomb video to, is going into a lot of junk mail folders. How do I get around that? Am I better off taking that automation away from StreetText and running them out of my own personal email or follow-up boss, or what do you suggest?
I always think that these auto emails are always there just to be there, and it's a percentage and numbers game for any endeavor, especially because every email carrier that these people have different filters, and so your best bet when you're sending video is always to send directly from BombBomb. And there's no, like, I would say back up on the lead flow and get into a comfortable zone and time block where you're gonna go into, okay, how many leads did I acquire today? How many of these provided emails? Obviously, check the deliverability of those emails in your section. It shows you who's opened it, who's watched it. But I would still send it again from BombBomb itself and attach tracking to it.
So delete the automation.
No, don't delete it. Keep it there. I mean, there's no problem with getting double or triple video sent, because really what you're trying to do is make sure they received it and get a dialogue behind it. Hey, did you just want to make sure you got this email, right? Sometimes you can say sometimes my emails get lost in a folder, so I'm actually resending again to make sure you receive this.
Okay, so leave the automation and supplement it with the email directly out of BombBomb.
With it directly out of BombBomb, and that goes for everybody, and that goes for every piece of email communication you send, because at the end of the day, we need to attach tracking to it. The true measurement of your effectiveness of communication is making sure this email, any email you send, whether it's an automated email or a personal email, is being opened, and if you have video in it, it's being watched. And so
you don't think it looks a little bit unprofessional if they're getting duplicate email?
No, it's as long as you change it up slightly and just ask a simple question, because you are not just duplicating it. If you send it again, you're, hey, I just wanted to make sure you receive this. It's sent in my system that it was delivered, but you have yet to open it. So I just wanted to make sure you got my email.
Gotcha.
Right?
Thanks.
You betcha. Good question.
Be careful with that too. Those automated emails, I'm sorry, no offense on this, but I think you have to personalize it, because what's happening is that it's automatically sending emails. I didn't know when I first started, and my big mistake was I didn't have a tutorial. I didn't know really much about StreetText, and I was getting these leads, but I didn't have a system in place. And so I feel I was lost. I was completely lost. And so, and then I didn't know that there was an automated system that was sending out emails. And one of them said, what did you, something to the effect that just checking in to see what you thought of the CMA, and I hadn't sent a CMA. So it was really embarrassing for me because I am a very detailed and organized person. Had I known there was the backside of all of that, I would have, you know, I would have done something to fix that, but I didn't know. I had no idea. And so I didn't know they're getting bombarded with all these emails, you know, mine included, my own personal emails. So, you know, if I had to do it over again, I would definitely take a tutorial, learn more about how the system works, and then do the, you know.
I completely agree. I'm echoing a little bit. So one of the things you'll quickly realize is that StreetText will find a way to generate you leads. Sometimes you got to split test. Sometimes you got to A/B test. You know, in the case of Jeff in Orange County or any of these competitive markets that are different and not the, you know, typical average area, and I'm talking about a little higher end, you'll have to actually change it up a little bit and find something that's organic and native to get that high click profile. Once the leads start flowing in, then you quickly realize it's not about lead gen anymore. It's about process, continuing that for the rest of your, you know, and forever on how can I create influence in an authentic, genuine way that really shows myself to be someone that comes from contribution, that is leading with value, that's all about being a go-giver, that's expecting nothing in return. And if you come across with that mentality, people are naturally going to gravitate towards that. You got to be likable and obviously be a resource for them. And it's not about me just coming and sell your house today. It's me being a trusted advisor of all things real estate. And even, hey, I've got a great network too of everything you could possibly imagine under the sun of something that might be interesting to a potential seller or buyer. And so sometimes we forget about that we have so much to offer, but we're just trying to position ourselves as a realtor who wants to sell their home. And so I think it's really imperative in your ongoing process and nurturing and how you drip, that you create that experience for them over time. And that's why you're going to actually, you know, retargeting comes in way later down the line with the pixels you have. But retargeting doesn't matter to me if you have never created a relationship with that person. It's like, why are you retargeting this person if you never actually made a connection in the first place? How are they going to remember you? Right? So I think that the truth of the matter is you got to think about your first month of communication as being all about who you are, how you can serve them, the value you offer, and then think of things outside the box that are not just about the value of their home.
Marcus, I'm sorry. What? And I again, relative neophyte. What's retargeting?
Retargeting is when you take these pixels, for example, like Facebook records pixels, and that means like all the people that have clicked on your ad, and then you could actually remarket to those people that have already clicked on it in the future with different ads.
Gotcha.
Right. So it's being like, okay, you clicked on my ad. Obviously, you express some interest in wanting to sell your home or find the value of your home. So let's retarget you, right? But I've always found for the agents that really do well with StreetText, they've created influence quite early. They've given value quite early. They've really branded themselves and become somebody that like leads with integrity, leads with value, you know, their personalities front and center. And they continue to reinforce that with their communication. And whether that's trying to get the conversation back to Facebook Messenger or try to become Facebook friends, whether it's using BombBomb video and using video CMAs, whether it's, you know, dropping off a pop-by gift at the home, the personal mailers, all of that is something to consider, because you have to create that influence for people to naturally start seeing you as somebody that they would want to list their home with the exception, right? If you want to be someone that doesn't fall into the, you know, well, online lead conversion sits at 1.5% or whatever. Great. And even that is something that kind of should be like, well, 1.5%. Well, how do you actually measure that? Number one, and what's the time frame that you're actually measuring that in? And how many, you know, whenever someone says to me, well, what's your average conversion on these? And I'm like, well, what's your follow-up like? Because it's very subjective to how many personal touch points you have automations, personal touch points, integrations like HomeBot and BombBomb, they all have a lot to do with what your lead conversion percentage is going to be. And then how long are you actually willing to invest in these leads? Like, are you going to invest in the next 90 days? And if you don't get an appointment, you're out of StreetText? Most likely your percentage is going to be pretty crappy. Just be honest.
So, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
First off, I want to apologize for my lighting. I just remodeled my room here and I don't have all the lights, so bear with me.
Yeah, no worries.
So just to touch base on a couple of those things, first and foremost, maybe I had a great coach with StreetText. I've been with StreetText for about 5 months now. Troy's my coach. Man, I tell you, top to bottom, everything was explained from the minute I came aboard. And I had a lot of issues setting my follow-ups and my funnels up, and he was there 24/7. So I got to say, like, first off, shout out. That's just 100%. That's what he gets.
Boy.
But with that, a few things I would watch. So what I've learned from StreetText is, and don't get me wrong, I have a few dozen leads that I've communicated with. I've done a few dozen listing appointments already. I don't have one listing off of StreetText per se, but I have 3 buyers off of StreetText, which is weird, right? But anyways, so I have a lot of things going on from StreetText. And the one thing that I learned from StreetText was that, let me backtrack. I've been on Facebook doing advertising on Facebook for like 9 years now. So I kind of had the background on Facebook and knew where to go with it. And I found that the whole retargeting thing, so what's his name, Jeff? I would watch the retargeting because retargeting really doesn't work well. At least in my perspective or my experience, it doesn't work well. What StreetText taught me was the more personalization of it. I was retargeting and I was setting new ads and new funnels for retargeting, and then next thing you know, you're another ad. You're just a symbol. So the best way to retarget is to personalize, and the best way to personalize is become friends with them on Facebook, become friends with them, and whatever the case is. And your retargeting is actually just your social media presence. So I would definitely watch how you retarget and the way you retarget, because you can waste a lot of money and a lot of time on retargeting and just get absolutely nowhere with that.
That's
with
great.
that. Yes, I have been on StreetText. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean.
No, I was gonna say that's great feedback. I've always thought it's just a fancy whistle that people try to sell you, right? Like systems like Lopo and stuff. I think there's like retargeting. For me, it only makes sense if you actually have developed a relationship with that person. Now you can retarget them with great content. But if you've never developed a relationship with that person and had a conversation and they really get to know you, like your retargeting is going to go to waste, because they're like,
like I said, I've been advertising on Facebook for almost a decade now, and I haven't retargeted in 5 years. My retargeting is just my posting and my social media presence, so it's something to consider and think about. I mean, like I said, and I did learn that from StreetText itself. Also with those things in mind, StreetText is just, the reason why I chose StreetText. Like I said, I don't have a lot. I can't say that my pipeline financially is coming off of StreetText right now, but my next year funnel is just bombarded with StreetText, because it's taught me how to nurture these relationships more than just a client or ad, So that's just something to consider as well. So that's all I got for you.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Deborah.
I've been on StreetText probably maybe since May, and I'm really having a difficult time setting up the auto responders. I worked on it last night, and I couldn't. Some of them I could customize, and other ones I don't know.
Talk to Troy.
Well, first of all, let me go look, because I can help you out right now. And I know Troy is your coach.
Yeah.
We got some Troy coaches on here. So so when you go into your dashboard, and here's everybody, you know, kind of thinking about, well, where do I even begin? Well, I would always begin with obviously the ad that you're running. And so when you go to your settings and then you go to all automations down here,
Yes.
we look to see what your big automation is. Well, you have number one, this is the active one. Obviously, we're going to be working out of this one here. And when you click edit, this is where you actually would, I think, is the easiest way to kind of think about the workflow, because you have all these actions that are happening. And so what does that mean? So if you start scrolling down, you can see this is the very first email that would be sent out. It's called after submission quick question. So if you literally just clicked on this particular email, it'll show you what's being sent to that email, those people. So right now, nothing, you know, you made some a quick, you know, if you have done any recent updates to your home, such as paint, new flooring, updated kitchen or bathrooms, let me know. But what we want to challenge you to kind of start thinking about is you want to think about, you know, the StreetText Academy course is a great place to kind of get some ideas. You want to think about both the video inside of there and an email signature.
Yeah, I have BombBomb. And something else I didn't understand was setting up the time. You know, how many, you have one that says, you know, 3 days after contact.
Yeah, so do you, if it's, so it's contact, but this is the first one being sent out automatically. Okay. If you look at the time delay, it's 000. That means it's automatically. This one right here, if you look at the next one, this one will be sent 2 days later. And it's basically after 2 days, it's going to say quick update your home value. And it's basically going to say, you know, hey, I hope you received my home evaluation, liked what you saw. These are all customizable, by the way. Even the time, like if you're like, you know what, I want this sent a day later instead of 2 days. You just change the time delay. But they're in sequence. So you got to make sure as you do it, it's going to be time delayed from the previous email that you have in there. So you'd have to change that particular of it. Then you have another one that you said send email. So you like,
I couldn't customize. Yeah, are those coming back to me? I couldn't customize those.
No, those are not, nothing's happening. So right now they're off. So there's nothing in there. And then if you were to try to customize these, there's nothing that's blank. Again, working with Troy on this, he'll really clear this up for you.
Okay.
But this is all customizable. You just got to get a flow of, you know, what's being sent out, how it's being sent out. The best thing you could always do is go to your ads and put yourself in the funnel, like add your address, add in your own email, maybe even share it with some of your colleagues, and say, hey, do me a favor, put in your address, put in your email, put in your phone number. Let me know the experience you're having. You know, I'm trying to get this funnel, these automations, the drip email, SMS, all this to feel like you'd want to talk to me. And you'd feel comfortable in having a conversation with me about your home. Would that, you know, give me honest feedback. Would you respond to this? Right. And so what you could do is you could view your ad and then figure out about 5 people that, you know, you think could give you constructive feedback, not people that, you know, tell you what you want to hear all the time. And ask if they'd put in their information inside of that ad and funnel. And would, you know, what's your first impression, both on the email as well as the SMS? Because if that first impression doesn't line up and feel natural, it's going to be tough for you. And I think that's the important, let's start on the first impression. Nothing matters outside of, you know, you can work on your day 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way down to month 9. But if your first impression is off and it's not getting opened or delivered and, or, you know, you're getting engaged with it, then we need to start there.
I agree.
And so I think ultimately what you're really trying to communicate it and work on is how can I make sure that my brand, my personality, my, you know, the authentic vibe, you know, contribution focused personality is being communicated. And am I not only getting it to them, is it getting opened? Is it getting watched? If I have a link in that email, am I getting that link clicked on? Because ultimately every one of us wants the appointment, but how do we communicate? You know, hey, if you click on this link, it'll actually book you into my calendar. We'll have a Zoom meeting. We can do a phone call or FaceTime, whatever you prefer. I wanted to work on getting you a in-depth market analysis. And by the way, if I don't hear from you, here's what you can expect from me, right? So
Right.
you're kind of setting expectations up with these autoresponders. You're trying to say, hey, I understand you were probably just curious. I think you always got to imagine yourself to be the homeowner. Hey, I understand you were probably just randomly on your phone scrolling down your newsfeed. If you think of it that way and you put yourself in their shoes, you can start naturally saying, I was just curious. I was, just randomly in my Facebook scrolling down newsfeed. Most people are just curious, but I never assume that. That's what you want to say. But I do work on your CMAs personally, on your home values. And if I don't hear from you, I'm just going to be able to give you, the internet's best guess. But if you'd like an in-depth market analysis, it is complimentary. It is my way of giving back to the community. There's no obligation to it. Even if you're looking to sell for years from now, I'm here for you. I want to be a trusted resource for you.
That's great.
What if we came from that angle? How often would our conversations change? So I want to encourage you to kind of think of that way you follow up as making that person feel like, oh, okay, I do want this information, and I appreciate that you're doing this in that way. Because naturally, if you lead with contribution, if you lead with that type of value, these people, now their guard's going to come down, and they're going to feel like they can actually have a conversation with you. You're not going to just try to get them to list with you. And it's
I think to that point, Marcus, like, I'm always thinking like, man, I want to give you everything. I want you to have, you don't have to give me barely anything. And I go like way too far in that direction. I'm like, here's my freaking awesome CMA. I'm going to put a ton of work into it. I'm going to make you a video. I'm going to send it to you on an email. I'm going to send it to you in the mail. Everything I need to do, I'm trying to find that balance between like the give and take, like what is a contribution that also will elicit that need for more.
Yeah, you got to find that fine balance, because I think a big part of this is giving them options, in the beginning, saying, hey, this is why people do the virtual CMA and keep it in and around a minute, to really emphasize that, hey, I'd love to help you understand where you could position your home's value right now in the market. But, the only thing I can work off of is my MLS.
Yeah.
And the only thing I have to kind of compare that to is what the internet's best guess is too. And here's why you clearly can see that you and I would have, to have at least a conversation to get any more detailed than this.
Yeah, I'm doing like 6-minute video CMAs, like breaking it all down.
Shut that down and really be genuine in your approach, and just say, I am going to clearly communicate that there's one way for you to get an accurate assessment, and that's for us to have a conversation. And I understand everybody's going to have, because of COVID, a different level of comfort there. So right. You got to say, hey, we have taken safety measures. We can do this virtually, digitally. You can actually start by sending me pictures. We can do a FaceTime. You may not be comfortable with the video, but I can show you how to use it.
Right.
You'd like to show me around your home, right? So it's kind of, sometimes we need to take a step back, forget about the lead generation for a second, and maybe spend a few days kind of rethinking, reverse engineering almost the process.
Yeah.
And we've lost it. We've lost the art of reflection.
I think I'm also, though, in that spot where I'm new to this, and when a lead comes in of a place, of a house that I'd love to represent or whatever, I just want to smother it. I'm just like, oh boy, and it's just too easy for me to go. It's like I don't have a whole lot of other stuff going on right now, so whatever comes my way, I'm just like throwing a blanket over it and smothering it probably.
You know what, Nate? Your value. And I think the key is, like, we can't come across as desperate. We can't come across as salesy. You gotta lead with confidence, and really that shines through in the way you communicate. And I think it's really just positioning yourself as the best resource for all things. Like, the community, things that can help them. You have a network of people from the mortgage side to carpenters and handymen we got to think outside the box. Like, how can I serve you? Maybe it's not even the selling side of it. Maybe just how can you serve them in anything that comes down to their needs, and we don't know what their needs is until they feel like they can talk to us about them.
Yeah, I do keep reinforcing that, idea of like, I need to see the house. I'd like to help you with whatever it is that whatever kind of real estate related questions you have. Don't think of me as a salesperson. Think of me as, just your resource. I'm not going to force you into, whatever. But again, 6 minutes is too long.
Also
Put too much into it.
reinforce and also reinforce that you may not have all the answers, but if you can't find that answer, you'll definitely get them one.
Right. Yeah.
And you'll find someone who can. And I think that's the key. If we come across that way, that's the best way we can do.
And that's really what I've realized. What my biggest talent is answering questions that I don't know finding the person that knows the answer. That's more and more what I find is the best resource I have.
You're in a sense a concierge, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And go ahead.
Sorry, just to one thing for Nate, you could think of it as like you're creating a trailer, like a movie trailer, that you want to hook people, right? So I think that the whole intention of the video is to hook. And so once you hook them in, then you could reel them in. But Marcus, my question to you is, I'm not using BombBomb or any video platform things. So is it possible for now, can I just videotape, can I just record myself on my phone and then send that? Or is there complications with that?
It's always tough. And I have found even people that upload video into YouTube or Vimeo or anything like that, it's tough because
I was trying to do that.
I tried to do it
through YouTube, and it is a pain in the butt.
It's a pain. It's tedious. It's
painful.
It's tedious. It's cumbersome. It tastes way too much of your time. The experience for the homeowner is not going to be good. It doesn't translate well into email, and so forth. So you spend a little bit more for that experience for sure. I mean, and I think the two that I have found are kind of the two best right now. And I know there's always someone else trying something out there for a little bit cheaper. It's BombBomb and Dub. And I still go with BombBomb only because I know Dub is brand new. They've only gotten into the industry. They have only less than 10 or so employees out of LA. Basically the one gentleman is doing all his, all the influencing for Dub, where BombBomb has been around for 14 years. They've got so much support and customer service. You can call them, you can schedule demos, you can find out more best practices. You'll have your own reps, and they know the industry in and out in real estate. So it's sometimes you spend the extra $10 for the experience, and so that's my own personal opinion, but I'm welcome to be swayed on that. I just, I like it. I think I haven't found any of our star converting clients that have, done anything without BombBomb.
Would you recommend getting one of those videos into every one of those follow-up emails that's sent?
I would,
customizing each part of the funnel with a video,
and remember that those are just templated. I would never allow those to stay. And by the way, you should be considering adding in emails too, because right where you go into your email templates, you can add in your additional emails and add them into your sequence, and you can take away certain ones. So there's no reason why you couldn't have 10 days of emails going out in the first 10 days.
And that's an interesting point, Marcus, because I use Follow Up Boss as my CRM. And I've been debating as to whether to move all of my StreetText contacts into Follow Up Boss and shoot out my drip system there, or just bolster the existing StreetText funnels to push stuff out. And I still haven't figured out what the answer is there.
I don't think there is one. I think Wendy, for example, at Las Vegas, she has Follow Up Boss as well. But I know she bolsters up the StreetText automation, and then she personalizes it. She did say that she uses all of StreetText automation and then just moves her contacts over after about a year into Follow Up Boss to put them on a drip system. Yeah, and you need to measure and take notes and record your follow-up. Like, hey, this person goes delivered to, this opened it, this one responded. And that's where maybe developing pipelines from within your StreetText dashboard too. You know, and start, because you're not going to know, especially as leads get overwhelming. Like, just, you have to know where they're all at. Time frame, opens, deliverability is taking notes is so important in your CRM. A big massive thing for you is you need to know and then position these leads in the necessary buckets.
Yeah, the only thing that's problematic again is the mail filters, with the question as to whether or not the things that are being pushed out by StreetText are actually hitting inboxes, or they're just going into junk mailboxes.
Yeah, I mean, we've actually hired 3 new developers. So there's going to be a lot of moving on that end to make StreetText more robust as a CRM for you.
And maybe whitelisting StreetText's email so more of them get through.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to always look on to see I mean, that's everything. Every one of your concerns is naturally a priority, and we're trying to figure out what's going to give you the best opportunity, because you got to almost prioritize every single thing that's as a request from the base. But trust me, we've got everybody. The best thing you could always do whenever you're coming into I wish moment is send that to support, and we'll actually put it in our future list. That's the best thing I can recommend, because, or just in the insider group, hey, where are you guys at with this? Because, you know, obviously everybody wants a mobile app, and so forth. Like, you can imagine there's a lot of scenarios, and we're always trying to give you the best experience. But you know, we just do it one at a time, and it's just going to grow. StreetText is going to grow. It's going to become, you know, you got to realize we only have right around 1,000 clients across North America.
Yeah, half of them are in Orange County.
I'm in Azusa, so LA County. We probably got plenty of them up here too.
Dude, trust me, there's plenty of fish. We have 15 agents in Kelowna with a 100,000 market, and you're in a place where there's millions of people. So there's.
Yeah, Nate, if you're new to Facebook, just wait. You'll start to see other agents in your area that are using StreetText hit your feed, so you'll know.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're getting ad performance, because that lead that you get is not going to anybody.
Yeah.
So everybody's worried about, oh, there's another person running in the same ad. I'm like, well, you know, it doesn't matter, because will they be able to have a conversation with that lead better than you? It really depends on their follow-up. There's plenty of fish on the Facebook Sea. Actually, there's 2 billion plus, and it's the #1 social media channel in the world.
Yeah, I didn't mean to be negative about it, because I'm getting more than my fair share of leads, even though I have 3 or 4 other StreetText agents popping up in my feed every day. So it's not a reflection of the amount. I'm not losing anything by virtue of them being in the same market I am.
You should click on their ad and send them a bomb video.
Well, actually, in all honesty, Marcus, I have clicked on many of their ads because I want to see what their follow-up system is.
Yeah, no, but like, throw in your email, like, hey, I'm just curious. I'm on the street. Let's say hi. Let's have some coffee. You know,
San Diego's the same way. You know, 3 or 4 a day.
Yeah, you and Kevin, both of you right now, right? So it's massive out there. You guys, and everyone, you guys are not competing. If anything, you should be collaborating. No. You know, if anything, you should be collaborating, to be honest. And I think that's that contribution focused mindset, because all of you will have leads coming in, and you're not going to be stealing each other's leads. So
no, I don't feel like that.
I think that's the key is everybody can get leads. Can you create value with those leads? And that's where that's going to make the difference between you, Erwin, Deborah, Kevin, right, in San Diego. It's like, are you going to be somebody right off the get-go that I feel like I can connect to as a homeowner? And
are we all Californians here?
We got,
Connecticut.
Hey,
no.
I'm Californian, by the way, but I'm born and raised in the Bay Area. Lived in Santa Monica, downtown LA, Culver City.
Faithful to the Bay, baby.
Bay Area for life.
Yeah.
even my Raiders, when they go to Vegas.
Hi, Angela.
Hey, Marcus, I got a question. I'm really new. I just signed up over the weekend, just coming from that 7-day trial.
Awesome.
And, you know, I'm very excited to start working with you guys. At the same time, I'd like to ask you a question. You know, when somebody give you the contact info, phone number and email, and then, you know, that autoresponder.
Yep.
would be sending like emails and phone numbers. I
Yep.
mean, emails and text.
100%. Yep.
Where can you see the actual sequence? Because I'm still confused on that.
So it's under settings and funnel settings. So when you go to, I'll just pull up a random dashboard. When you go to your settings right up here, and then you scroll down right here, there's this funnel settings in your settings, and you click on all automations. And then you look at to see which automation you're running is active. Well, if you go into the active one and click edit, this is the entire sequence of automations going out, both email and SMS. So, so this is where you kind of go in and see what's actually on emails. And if you literally click on any one of those, it'll bring you into that email and you can read it.
Or change it.
Or change it. Yeah. Same thing with the SMS down there. You can go down there and see 3 minutes, 11 minutes, 33 minutes, so forth, right? This is where you obviously want to go and start analyzing your responses in your conversations tab. So if someone says, who is this? Well, it's because they didn't get the first text message. They got the second text message. So now it's time to change the second text message to reflect, oh, you know, in case you didn't receive our first text message, we want to let you know that we are working on your Facebook home valuation request. You know, check your spam filters. My email could be in there. It's like you're basically using your assistant, Julie, to reinforce the communication you want them to see and how they're.
So can you reply back to whatever?
Yes, you're recommended to. So in your conversations tab, if they respond to any one of your texts, like Kathy will do, thank you. This is where you come in and respond. So anytime you get a lead that is lit up in yellow, that means they responded to your text. So you're going to want to actually go in there. And also, anytime you have your conversations that, because you have all, and then you have this little conversations tab. So everybody in this little chat feature, Brandon, Dorothy, Erica, all have phone numbers. Now it's a matter of, did they open it? Like in this case, this person with the red, it could be a landline, it could be a bogus phone number. You might want to just try to pick up the phone and make the call. You know, I would never just rely on this portion. At the end of the day, you have a phone for a reason. I think the clear thing is when you do try the phone number, like first and foremost, do the automations, try to send out a message. And some of you could even go in there and, you know, don't wait for the automations to kind of kick in the conversations either. You might as well go in there and start personalizing some of the questions you want to ask. Hey, just want to make sure, like, especially after you send an email, hey, just wanted to let you know if you have a phone number, by the way, guys, you should be doing this. After you've sent that video CMA or you send an email that you want them to open, like, hey, it's Julie, you know, Jeff's assistant, we just sent you an email. Check your inbox right now to make sure you received it. Right?
Because if there's a red mark to the right of the text, that I'm assuming that means the phone number is a bogus phone number, didn't go through.
Or a landline.
Okay.
Or a landline. So you just can't assume. You know, it's not being received in that case.
Are you guys getting like a fair percentage of actual numbers? Because I've had absolutely zero, not one real number.
My ratio started out at about 70% just addresses and email addresses. Over the last couple of weeks, I would tell you it's shifted and it's closer to 50-50 now. But that being said, I'm also going to jump onto the ad tweaking class because I want to try and create an ad that incorporates them leaving their phone number. I mean, right now they're not being prompted for their phone number with the generic ad. So, and I get the theory is, well, you're pushing for too much information. They're either going to give you a bogus phone number or they're just going to blow out of there. I just want to try that and see how that works when you incorporate the request for their phone number as well as their email address.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth a shot. That's why everything comes down to split testing, A/B testing, right? And you'll quickly realize if it works or not. Facebook lead ads are amazing if they work, but equally, I think, you know, you could also equally miss a lot of opportunities that you wouldn't have got otherwise by you know, letting go of the dynamic capture. So you'll have to test it to find out.
Could it be a matter of just having that extra ad that has the prompt for the email and stuff, and you're running it as the same time of your other ones, and maybe once a week I get a hit that gives me the email, the phone number, and the whole schmear, and that costs me $25, but that's worth it to me in my market. And then my other ads are still running, and they're still getting me the addresses. They're still doing
Yeah. Where are you located, Nate?
I'm in Southern California, not too far away from Jeff, up in LA County.
Yeah. So I mean, I would probably be running the enter your address, receive your home value funnel with some more organic native imagery.
I did do that one, and I'm getting just nonstop addresses.
Okay, so
since yesterday, 7, I think, just addresses.
Just addresses in that one. So then you could always go. You could always try to upload. Are you using the map image, or are you using?
I'm using the topographical map, which I've actually taken a picture of and then uploaded into that funnel.
So you could try other images. Like Jeff has an Orange County image that looks really good.
I was thinking maybe
just been amazing when we changed it from the topo map to some actual imagery that they could identify within the area.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much the leads increased.
Like I can do downtown Glendora or whatever.
Any picture you think that the neighborhood or the area that you're trying to attract is going to be able to identify with, because the map in general, you see 20 maps out there every day, but I think that their eye comes to something that they can relate to, which makes them, which piques their curiosity and forces them to click to see, hey, what's this all about? This guy's obviously in my area. So you may want to, even though you're limited to a minimum of a 15-mile radius, if there's a specific area, and Orange County is as you know, it's a pretty big area, but it's changed exponentially since using that image instead of the map.
Okay.
So what's the
And you're lucky with that one, because Orange County is massive, and you found an image that applies to the map.
It's that like iconic image that people like, man, when I think of Orange County, I think of.
When you think of Hollywood, you think of the Hollywood sign, and that's why we've seen someone run the Hollywood sign and do amazing. When you think of Vegas, you think of the Strip. That's why you put a Vegas Strip there, by the Raiders' new stadium. But that's where you can kind of get clear and try things. You got to split test them. You got to A/B test, split test, A/B test. Even the map, people don't split test or A/B test that properly. You should be split testing like the map, and then split testing the terrain, and split testing the satellite. And the same thing when you change from a different variable, like a call to action, enter your address, receive your home value, because that's a split test or an A/B test, because you're changing the text out. And then there's all those other funnel templates that you never know until you try them. So I think you're always just trying to figure out if it's native and organic, and you give it about $10 of ad spend in most markets before you make an informed decision. Usually, because if you're not getting clicks, there's a big indicator there, because that's the key, is like, we need to find as many clicks as often as early as possible.
Hey, Marcus, I had a question. Yeah, how do we turn back on the what's it called? The home valuation automation. How do you turn that back on? You shut it off.
You just go to funnel automations and figure out, because right now you wouldn't just turn it back on. You'd have to, number one, you'd have to figure out, are you running any ads?
Yeah.
And they should. So whatever ad. So sometimes what you got to look at.
No, not on the ad. The lead itself.
Oh, you can't once you turn it off, you can't turn it back on. It's
okay.
So for a contact, like if you go into contacts,
yeah,
and you view that contact, like once you turn off this home value automation off, it's irreversible to add them back in.
How come?
It just is, I don't know why they did that, but that's stopped. So you wouldn't put them back in a drip email campaign of this sort. Maybe you could put them into another thing, but
that's my question. Can I put, because I don't want them in the, obviously I've already communicated with them. I've already sent out the valuation. I've had a conversation with them in regards to as far as their sell time, or if they're going to sell it all, if they're just curious, whatever. And so they don't need any more emails or texts in regards to receiving the valuation report. I already had the conversation. So the next step would be to actually go into doing a whole different campaign, a follow-up campaign with them.
Yes.
So once I turn them off of that, how do I go back in and create another campaign and then turn them and then put them back into the?
That's a great future request.
Yeah.
Is that a feature request?
No, that's a future request. I would say from what my experience is, and you're in the United States, I would probably put them in something like HomeBot. That would be my.
Well, I have them in my, I have them in either I'll go to HomeBot or I'll have them in my KV Core.
Yeah, so those are going to be great. And then obviously do everything you can to create a friendship on Facebook, and then just write notes on when you're going to check in next. Like you need to have like a update where you're going to be like in a month, you're going to do a quick check-in with the Bomb Bomb video that's personal, or, that type of thing. Because at this point, I think it's not just dripping as much as you are staying in front of them and personally touching on them and checking in. And, maybe quarterly giving them an update or asking, hey, if they would like a new update.
Okay, yeah, because I have them on an update campaign as well. And so, okay, I just wanted to, because obviously once I've sent out a report, once I've communicated with them where they're at in their status, then I just need to put them on a different campaign. And so that your suggestion is what I'm already doing now is just whatever CRM I'm using. And in fact, if you guys ever come up with a CRM system in StreetText, then that's something that can be helpful as well. But however, I still have my CRM that I use that actually works out pretty good. So that's fine. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's, we always want these automations or these drips that'll naturally do our work. But the key is, like, once you've got the conversation and you figured out time frame and you've got a relationship with them, there's nothing going to be better for you than trying to figure out where they're going to be the most. And so I would reinforce the connection on Facebook now and put them in a pipeline on Facebook, the friends list that I've showed you.
Yep.
And that'll be your new pipeline, because you'll know, hey, this person's 3 months out, and you're going to be obviously monitoring that list a little bit closely, and checking every once in a while with Facebook Messenger. The end game is always Facebook Messenger in my mind.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I've had people bypass StreetText altogether and go to my Facebook, my Facebook business page there, and start making comments. And I've already responded to those comments, because the more likes I get on my page, the better the algorithms are with StreetText, and that's how I feel anyway. So I have one ad that just works out really well for me, and I keep on just going back to my Facebook page and just commenting. Even if some of the things, I even had one person, I didn't send them a valuation yet. It just, but and I get, hey, I never received my valuation, and just the person who made a response on the call today was just keep those automations going. It doesn't matter if you forget about them, because that's what the automations are for. And I've had people call me, or sometimes they'll say, I never got my report. Oh, you know what? Hey, Dan, I'm so sorry about that. Let me get that out to you right away. Right. So it doesn't really matter if you forget or not. It just keeps those valuations, keeps those automations going. But I've had comments. I had one comment says, this is a fake ad. I never received my valuation report. and I said, oh, hey, you know what, Eric? And I responded on Messenger, on Facebook, on my Facebook business page. And I said, hey, I'm so sorry about that. I get a lot of evaluation requests. Sometimes people slip through the cracks. Let me get that out to you. I do have a few questions. And I messaged him. And the comments that I made, people actually like those comments. Right? And so I have a full one segment is full of Zillow versus realtor evaluations, etc. So it's
so important.
Facebook Messenger works. That's really the a good end game there for me, as far as.
And you can build that end game into your automations in the way you create communication. And I was even thinking outside the box, is like, there's no reason why every one of us here couldn't create a Facebook group that was all about that value, about their home's value, about keeping them updated in the community, and say, hey, I wanted to actually invite you into the Facebook group I created. It'll be the best way to stay on top of what's happening in San Diego, the days on market, the recent home sales, mortgage rates, all things you can do to increase the home value, whatever that is. I want to invite you personally. For me to invite you, I just have to actually add you from my personal Facebook, right? So if you could start thinking outside the box, if you were ever to develop that type of community presence and create a Facebook group. We could talk about that more on another one. I know we're at the top of the hour here, but that's it for today. We are past the hour. This was an awesome meeting. Thanks for everybody's for their contribution. And you know, tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 p.m. Eastern is our mastermind. Come to that one. I
Thanks, guys.
promise you won't be disappointed.
Hey, Kevin.
Thanks, Marcus.
Kevin, where are you in San Diego?
All over. Mostly North County though.
Where
Mostly
in North County?
But you know, I've marketed everywhere. I mean, I'm getting a lot of contacts through my StreetText ads like Chula Vista, a lot in East San Diego. I don't really care. It doesn't matter. I pretty much have been here for
Both
20
you guys
years.
connect on Facebook Messenger.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
All right. Bye.